The drivers have been waiting, we have been waiting, but it's finally time. Another yet brilliant championship battle finally comes to an end at the legendary track of Interlagos. Welcome to the last round of season 15 here in Division 1 for F1 Total. As you can see, qualifying is about to go underway here in Interlagos. We all know this track, a legendary one. So many championships have been decided here in Brazil. I think one of Kart Racer's title, can't remember if it was the second or the third, but one of his many titles was won at this same track. But now we are about to see history being literally written, because our main championship contenders that we've been used to see fighting for the titles for many seasons now, it is always these same two guys, Felix against Kart Racer. The two German drivers are always battling it out, but this one will be a special one. They are fighting to be, for the first time ever in all of the history of F1 Total, a 5-time world champion. It is 5 or nothing between these two, so this will be an absolutely exciting round that we will see. And qualifying is starting. Felix will be the first one to complete the lap here around Interlagos, and we will try to commentate it with the Brazilian corner names. As we now start with the lap from turn 1, turn 3, it's the S2 Senna, 4th gear for turn 1, and still in 4th. Watch out for those track limits for turn 2 and 3. Stay all the way to the inside, DRS enabled, and now we go on the straight, the Reta Opposta, and now into turn 4 going downhill, Descida do Lago, 5th gear for Felix, early on throttle, use all of the curb on the exit. Now stay on the side for the left hand side, and now for the right hand side it's Ferradura and then Laranjinha, turn 6 and 7, and braking for turn 8 Esse, and down into 3rd gear, and for turn 9 Pinheirinho, and back on throttle going slightly up here now into turn 10 Bico de Pato, very acute right-hander, still in 3rd gear, now going down here flat out into Mergulho, and now braking for Juncao, turn 12, now 4th gear, throttle on the exit going uphill, and now DRS enabled, ERS enabled, subida those boxes, the main straight into turn 13 and 15, all the way to the inside. Felix will set the first lap on this qualifying session, and the provisional target for pole position is a 107.5, which I am pretty confident it is not that far from the ideal lap that we will see. I think the pole position time will be very close to that 107.5 by Felix. Jonathan has invalidated his first run. Actually, he has not, but he's currently 2 seconds and a half slower, and always is even slower, but I think he might have made a mistake. We will enable the gaps really quickly. Who else do we have? We have Sally, who has just started a lap and is going downhill. S2 Senna, and with a lot of rotation on the rear from the car of Sully, so set up really focused on that front grip, and I do think Brazil is one of those tracks where you need quite a big gap between the wings, focusing on the front so that you can turn in a lot better. So yeah, Kart Racer is about to start one right now. Let's see what the other contender for the championship can do. He breaks down into 3rd gear and actually takes a lot of curb on the inside, maybe too much curb. Oh, look at that, those turn 1, turn 3, those S2 Senna are quite messed up. It's really a scrappy sector 1 for his first lap. Those mistakes really will have cost him, but now it's 4th gear for turn 4, so downshifting just a little bit more than his main rival. Now going into Ferradura and Laranjinha, 6th gear, now braking very late and locking up those fronts, staying in 3rd gear all the way through to Pinheirinho, and now into Bico de Pato, still 3rd gear. In the meanwhile, Jeremy has set up very close to Felix, just 59 thousandths, but Kart Racer now stays in 3rd gear, and now exits Juncao and goes flat out on the straight, subida those boxes. DRS is enabled, the overtake mode is enabled as well. Kart Racer had a bit of a scramble in those first corners, and he's indeed slower than Felix and Jeremy, but still good enough for P3 to put himself between Jeremy and Phantom Fox at the moment. Phantom Fox, who is just 30 thousandths of a second faster than Sully at the moment. Guga River, after his debut last week, reserving for recap in Imola, is back again reserving, and he will be in the Alpine today. He's currently in P6. Dylan is now in P7, not too far from Guga River. Always has significantly improved. Now he's 1.2 seconds off a pole position. Shamur has crashed somehow on the back straight after turn 3. I have no idea how. It looks like it's parked on the right hand side, but it's just this one, so we cannot see that. Oh, Shamul had inters. Okay, so for some reason, Shamul put the inters and I didn't notice, and I think he might have just had a massive wheel spin out of the corner, maybe. Or maybe he was purposely drifting on the straight, I have no idea, but that's the end of qualifying already for Shamul. In the meanwhile, I've been informed that sadly for me, but luckily for the driver, weather will be all dry. We've known Brazil for being a legendary track and producing legendary races, especially in the wet, but it's not going to be the case tonight. But we still know how exciting of a track Brazil is, no matter the weather, even if it's full dry. In this case right here, we just see brilliant performances and brilliant races, to be honest. So yeah, very looking forward to it. But right now it's only a battle for who's the fastest, not who's the best, because this is still qualifying, and Kart Racer still needs to go out and improve on his previous, because it's still those 4 tenths that I'm pretty sure he lost mainly into the first 3 corners. Now, Felix and Kart Racer, they both didn't attend Imola last week, so the gap was still stuck at 13 points. Felix will go into this race 13 points behind his rival. He has to gain 13 points on his rival, which could be the equivalent of Felix finishing in the podium, like maybe P3 and Kart Racer DNFs, or Felix winning the race. And let's remember, Felix hasn't won a single race this season. His last win still dates back to season 14, and maybe he's looking forward to not have a season without race wins tonight. Well, it is going to be his only chance to make sure he doesn't have a season with no race wins. But worth mentioning, both of these drivers have finished on the podium in every single race they attended. Felix has only missed 1 race, and it was Imola last week. Kart Racer missed actually 3 races, Imola last week, but also other 2, which I cannot remember. I think it was Jeddah and Baku, probably. Let me see really quickly. I think it was Jeddah and Baku. Yes, Kart Racer missed those 2, but I mean, despite that, both drivers are really setting up a high standard, being on the podium in all those races. But I think it's Kart Racer, even having 2 races with 0 points, so 2 races where his rival gained points on him while not racing, despite those 2, he's still leading the race, because Felix hasn't won a single race, but Kart Racer has won 5 of them. And well, that plays really a crucial part. He goes into this season finale with 5 race wins, 2 second places and 1 third place. Felix, on the other hand, has 5 second places and 5 third places. So yeah, definitely hasn't been a season up to standards for Felix himself, but he could make that up if he wins this title tonight. It is gonna be very harsh, very tough, very difficult, but at the same time, Brazil and league racing as a whole is one of the most unpredictable things ever, even if it's dry. So yeah, we've had many well, to some extent controversial, but to the other extent just overall unpredictable and utterly surprising races here in F1 Style in Brazil. Absolutely everything, the unthinkable has happened around this track. So yeah, not all hope is lost, and it will be a battle up until the end. So who else do we have on our hot lap? I think Alex. Alex set his first lap. I didn't notice, and it's currently P4, just 5/10 of Felix. Guga River has improved, so Phantom Fox now goes into 6th, and he stays in 6th despite improving on his previous lap. Sully is still pushing, but he's down by 5 thousandths after sector 1, but he's halfway through sector 2, so really pushing the car. His Mercedes through turn 10 now. Vico De Pato. And I think he's about to, yes, he's about to finish sector 2 in just a moment. It's 79 thousandths up, and it's not going to be enough. He needs to gain at least 2 tenths to try and improve his position, and I don't think you can make up time for that on the straight. You just have to do it in the corners. He just stays on the inside as much as possible, but he actually did make up some time, I think at the last real corner, turn 12 going uphill. But still not enough to overtake Phantom Fox, so he will still start the race in P7 as of now. But our contenders with 6 minutes on the clock are not out on track, and I do think they will not have time to set 2 laps. I think they will have time for 2 runs with 6 minutes, less than 6 minutes left. So yeah, they are probably both saving a set of soft tires, which in a case of very late safety cars, it could be absolutely crucial. So yeah, and they're proving their pace in qualifying, so just no need to set a potentially useful set of tires to just try and improve by a few thousandths, if those few thousandths aren't worth a position. But either way, the race is still more important than the qualifying. So yeah, but it's still a battle here in qualifying. Katjes still needs to improve, but if he gets turn 1, 2 and 3, I think he can definitely be up there. And we'll see if Felix is confident with his lap time, or he will wait up until the end to set another one. And we go down to 5 minutes now. So we've got Bazooka, who set his lap earlier, and it's 8 tenths of a pole position. It's currently P8 between Sully and Dylan. Kuko does not have a lap yet. Neither does Jonathan. Shamul will start from last. But Kuko in the Ferrari is about to start one just now. And yes, he stays on the right hand side for the Esto Senna. Brakes down into 3rd gear and has a big oversteer, kind of like the one that had Kart Racer, and he already invalidates after turn 2, just goes on the inside curb too much. In turn 1 takes the inside curb and almost spins, like he has a big oversteer, and then trying to correct it, he wasn't able to control the car into turn 2, so he oversteers even more and goes too much on the inside of turn 2, going beyond the wide track limits, and that's already how easily you can invalidate your lap times. So this is a factor that could also be deciding in the race. If drivers get too many track limits penalties, in the case of Jonathan, like last week, I don't know if he's gonna get disqualified again. I hope he doesn't, but yeah, I'm just thinking about it. It was quite funny. But no car is on track. No car is pushing on track at the moment. Kuko, he's about to start another lap right now. He will just have a little bit of wear on those tires, but he has saved the energy and he's gonna try and go right now. Let's see, how does he take the Esto Senna now? He very much avoids the inside curb of turn 1 just to be careful. He actually invalidates again. I think he was still on the inside too much, but this time around in turn 3 stayed too much on the inside. and went beyond the white line again. So we will have Dylan. Let's see if Dylan actually can get this right. Takes a very wide line using all the width of the track and takes a lot of curve, but that is very, never mind. He cuts turn 2 too much, and it's another invalidated lap time. But we are now approaching the final phase of this last qualifying of the season. At the moment, Felix with his banker lap time is on pole position, but I do think Jeremy is out on track. It is not. It is Sully. It is Sully. The Mercedes going out on track, out to the pit lane right now. It is Sully, but look at that. All of the cars are going back on track very, very quickly. The track has evolved quite a lot now, so grip levels will be up through the roof. So the optimal conditions for all of these drivers to set their fastest lap time. Felix is on the outlap. There we go. Kart Racer. He's still in the pit, but I think he's about to go out soon. There is movement in the Williams garage, and there we go. Both championship contenders are out on track at the moment. Felix will have to defend. Kart Racer will have to attack. And even if he doesn't get pole position, there is still a crucial position that he could gain, that is P2. Being behind your championship rival can be as equally as good. If you're in P3, you already have a car between the two of you. If you're in P2, you're just behind him. And maybe you can pressure him. You can try and force him into mistake. All of that stuff goes into play when you are fighting for a championship. But that will be discovered once we go into the race, because right now we will commentate this last part of qualifying. Felix is right now on pole position, but let's see if he can improve that even more. Now going down into turn 1 and braking and downshifting aggressively into third gear, but short shifting into fourth, and just look at that, pushing the car to the absolute limit of the track limits, just barely inside those white lines. So let's see, is he improving section 1? Is slightly not by 27 thousandths, but now he takes a lot of curve on the inside. Now let's see what Kart Racer is able to do. He's actually about to start one on now. So Felix now downshifts into sixth gear, and now third gear braking, but he locks up and goes slightly deep. Kart Racer has started his lap. Let's see, here's another oversteer. The same mistake he made through turn 1. Let's see if he costs him even more this time around, or if he can still improve. Does he improve? Yes, he still improves by 2/10, and he's not gonna have another chance to improve, and he goes just barely inside those track limits. Now Felix has set a purple sector 2, and he's actually improving his time by quite a lot. 2/10 up at the moment. He's gonna improve his pole position even more. Yes, he is. A 107.2, improving by 2/10.5. But now let's see what the others can do. Dylan has improved up into P4, so Kart Racer has dropped down to P5. If he doesn't improve his lap by at least 7/10 of a second, he will not be on pole position, and he's barely even improving by 34 thousandths. I don't think there is enough time for Kart Racer to gain here at the last corner. And on the straight with the DRS overtaken able, I don't think it will be anywhere near Felix. Kart Racer actually still improves. I've been to P3, gains 2/10 on the last traction zone, the last corner that sets you on the straight. Just found 2/10, but it was actually not good enough for pole position, and not even from the front row. Kart Racer will start this race in P3 unless Sully can improve. Actually no, Sully has already completed his lap. He's on his in lap. Alex has improved up into P5, and Dylan is actually still pushing, but is he actually improving? No, he's just back into the pits. And there we go. These are the official qualifying results going into the final race. Felix will start on pole position, and the other German driver, his last season championship contender, he was actually not Kart Racer, but behind him is still the man who won the title against him, his second title in his career by just 1 point. That man is Jeremy, and he's starting in P2, just between the two main championship contenders in this season, because the two historic rivals are not P1 and P2, but P1 and P3. Kart Racer is in P3, Sully just barely in P4. I think it's 40, like barely 40 thousandths of a second slower than Kart Racer. And there we go, we can continue with the rest of the results. Alex will start in P5 and Dylan in P6, and Alex and Dylan, look at that, very, very close. Like all of the, from P3 and downwards, all of the cards on the rows, on the single rows, are just hundreds of a second between each other. Cuttracer and Sully, Alex and Dylan, Phantom Fox and Jonathan, Guga River and Bazooka, Kuko and Always. Just look at that. In every single row, the drivers are just so close to each other, but then we have Aksharik, who is actually a second slower than Always, and Shamol with no lap time. He will start down in P14, but there we go. This is the official qualifying grid for the last race of the season, and it will be a crucial one. And I'm sure it will be exciting up until the end. So really, no idea what to expect. But Felix has the right cards to play in his favor, starting on pole position. To be fair, he still hopes, he still needs that Cuttracer will finish the race in P5 or lower if Felix actually wins the race. Which again, on paper, it wouldn't be the exact situation you'd expect from these two, from one to win and the other to be done in P5. You usually see them just so close together in P1 and P2, or like 2 and 3 at most. But yeah, not really the most likely of results, but that's the result that he needs to win this 5th title. Both of them fighting for the 5th title, and I'm sure it will happen in just spectacular fashion. We will see in just a moment, because now the drivers are really focused on getting those strategies right, which can play a crucial part, whether it's with or without safety cars. Those strategies are absolutely crucial to make things right and improving your chance of a race win in here. They are being very methodical, very cautious, studying everything that needs to be studied, even those minor setup changes, those little tweaks that you need to maybe change the balance on your car between qualifying and race. All of those little details that in the long run can actually play a very big part. They are doing that just now, so we will see at least how the race goes. And there we go, for the final race of this season. It's lights out, and away we go right now as Felix is starting on pole position. But let's see if Cuttracer has a better run. He already goes side by side with Jeremy. Jeremy with a huge lunge on the inside. Jeremy Felix going side by side, but already no, Jeremy kind of backs out. He tries for a kind of a switchback going into turn 3, and now Jeremy has the inside line. Cuttracer stays in P3, and Jeremy is looking at the inside of Felix. They still go wheel to wheel through turn 4. They actually make contact. There is no wing damage. Luckily for them, the car are still linked, but they're already battling heavily, intensely in this first lap, in those first corners already. But Felix maintains the lead, and Jeremy is looking for a gap already. The race has barely even started, and Jeremy is trying to fit his car into every single gap that he finds. Now Jeremy has a look on the inside. He's a huge lunge, and Felix actually taps him, but Felix now has the opportunity for a switchback. Cuttracer is looking at this beautiful fight just ahead of him on the first lap, and Cuttracer actually now sends it almost on the inside of Felix. There is yellow flags being waved at the back of the pack. I'm not sure what happened, but it's all regular. It's now green flag all over the place, but Jeremy has taken a lead, ending the first lap, aggressively attacking Felix. But now Cuttracer has this lifting and goes on the inside of Felix on the first lap, actually on the second lap into the first corner. They still go wheel to wheel, and Felix tries to stay ahead on the outside, but actually no, he drops down. Now Cuttracer is on the inside. DRS is enabled. They both have DRS enabled to Jeremy ahead, but it's Cuttracer who goes ahead and is now in P2 after only 2 laps, or just barely even 1 lap. Felix has dropped 2 positions, and his charge for the title has now been made even more difficult. Sully in all of this is in P4, and Alex, I think, wind damage. Did he rear end Sully? Yes, Alex's wind damage, rear ending Sully, braking for turn 8. Yes, for turn 8. So the Sauber driver will have to deal with that reduced downforce, and there is all sorts of scrambling going just behind. Gugarino tries to overtake Dylan. Does he overtake Dylan? He has a look at the inside, but it's not enough. And Dylan has slightly dropped down Phantom Fox, but Phantom Fox is using all the street scenario from the cars ahead. Does Alex pit? No, it looks like he can still hold on. Car Chaser now sets the fastest up and goes for the inside, overtaking the race leader Jeremy and going slightly deep into the braking of turn 1. Does Jeremy have the chance to try and go for a switchback or maybe try and get a late apex on the straight? We don't know, but we have this beautiful aerial shot from above looking at those three main drivers, the three top drivers going into this race, fighting for every single position. Jeremy reclaims the lead and catches as Felix all over the place, all over his rear wing and rear mirrors. But Sally and Alex are absolutely breathing on their necks, as it looks like. Jonathan is pitted? I didn't notice that. Did he pit? Yes, Jonathan with an early pit stop already and dropping down to last. And it looks like everyone has started on mediums and Jonathan just switched to the hards. So if Felix wins, it will be a V-Cab sandwich. But for Felix to win, he will need to overtake Car Chaser and Jeremy, who are looking more than aggressive, more than able to fight for those positions, just overtaking whenever they have a chance. They take those positions. Already on lap 4, they are not saving anything. Are they saving energy? Maybe. Car Chaser is on 54, Jeremy 54 as well, and Felix 43. Well, they have deployed some energy, to be honest. They have deployed some battery. But everyone is into this big DRS train except for Always. Always will leave the back markers DRS train. So always Kuko, Sean and Archerick. Actually Kuko is about to drop down, to drop out of DRS. But for the rest, it's from P1 all the way down to P9, stuck into this big DRS train. Going down to Bazooka in P9. But look at that, Car Chaser is pushing. He's already now 7/10 ahead of Jeremy. That lap was absolutely majestic. He sets the fastest lap of this race, 109.4 on those mediums. But now they are not that close like those first laps. They are battling less because they are a little bit further apart. So now the question is, what will the strategy be? More than anything, they need to figure out what lap their contenders are gonna choose to go into the pits and go to the hard compound. But with that, you also have to think about potential safety cars. Like let's think that the driver ahead, or like one of your rivals, goes for the undercut, so he pits before you and goes for the hards to try and undercut you. But let's say his timing is not right, and the medium runners don't pit, while one of the medium runners pit for the hards. The one that pit for hards, if there's a safety car, they're gonna find themselves very much down the field and with a lot of positions to recover. But that's in the worst case scenario, but it will still be a very likely one. But we don't know what their strategies are yet. Right now, the only strategy we know is that Felix Felix needs to stay in this DRS train. He does not have the opportunity to drop out and to lose time. They all need to be compact, all close together. At the same time, Felix will hope that Jeremy doesn't slow him down as much, but Jeremy doesn't even have as much of a reason to slow down Felix. He could very much fight for the win as well. So it is not in his interest to defend aggressively against Felix and drop out of DRS. If they work together, they still can get Car Chaser. But as of lap 6, still quite early to tell, too early to judge. but DRS isn't able to once again between those two. And now Felix almost makes a move, and Jeremy slightly locks up going into turn 1. But nothing happens, those positions are still the same. Sully now has begun to drop out of DRS compared to Felix. And also Fantafox, I think Fantafox and Alex were somewhat fighting, because all of a sudden they lost quite a lot of time. And in the meanwhile, Sully by himself has lost time to Felix. So now the DRS train is down to the top 3 drivers into the podium places. Felix and Kurt have finished the podium in every single race, but Felix cannot take a single podium from this race. He needs to take a win, and Kurt needs to be at least 5th. Everything can still happen. Maybe it's not the time, still too early with those only 7 laps. But I do think that once we get into the pit stop phase, things will start to get a lot more exciting. Or maybe even now, because Felix with DRS, even Jeremy has DRS, but they still go to try and fight for P2, and actually Jeremy is somewhat defending. Felix really pushing to try and stay on the inside and still in the DRS range. They still both have DRS, and it looks like Jeremy has less drag because he seems to be going faster in this straight, but at the same time there was a massive send from Jeremy into turn 1 on the outside to try and defend his position into the first corner. But now look at that, Felix is having a look up the inside, and he fits his car on the inside gap of turn 7 and now into turn 8, and he is still inside the DRS. So that's a beautiful move for Felix, and he now has the chance to gain on his main championship rival. But did he use energy? Somewhat. His battery now shows 41%, and he's definitely gonna have to somewhat manage that, because he cannot afford to deploy the battery too much and start losing time, that he starts dropping out of DRS. But he is doing a good job as of now. But look at that, Jeremy is just so much faster on the straight. But I think Felix is deploying now. Jeremy has the inside, they still both have their ring wheels up, and they still go wheel to wheel, but this battery might actually compromise the both of them to try and stay inside DRS. Kurt knows this, he knows that they are losing time, and in the meanwhile Jonathan has already started his journey to try and get disqualified yet another time, maybe even Kuko, because he now has 3 seconds as well. So only 3 seconds as of now for Guga, River, Kuko and Jonathan. Let's remember, Jonathan had 27 seconds, so still a long way to go, but still a good start. 3 seconds, so that's already 3 of them removed out of the theoretically 27 you'd need to get disqualified. I mean, according to Imola last week. But we are now into the first 25% of this race, lap 9 out of 36, and as it stands, Kurt is doing a very good job and very comfortably just leading this race after he made those very important moves after the race starts. And Jonathan now he's trying to... What is he even trying to do? Oh, he has lost his wing, never mind. He has almost entirely lost his wing, he's just missing so many flaps on one side. He's actually missing the end plates and some of the flaps. Actually, not the flaps, doesn't matter. His wing is almost gone, so yeah. Alex and Fantafox are actually in a very exciting fight by the looks of it. They are fighting for P5, and look at that, they go side by side through turn 7, and let's remember Alex still has the wing damage, but I think he got slightly tagged from behind. He had a very, very microscopic and quick oversteer that he had to correct in just a matter of thousandths of a second through turn 7, but he has managed to keep his car on track, down to P8, but he still has a chance to recover, staying inside this DRS train, and Bazooka hasn't dropped out of it yet. But it is Phantom Fox trying to defend this P5. Google River has DRS, and he will try to overtake him for a theoretical P5, because let's remember that he has a penalty, so it's not the actual P5 he's fighting for. But Jonathan, he's now, maybe he's stacking up wing damage. Last week he was stacking up track limits penalties, but now he's stacking up wing damage. He now has no front wing at all, and he allows himself to get lapped. And truly another Jonathan masterclass, I have to say. Kuko and Noise actually in a fight of their own. And Kuko has some penalty, and also probably wing damage. I think he's missing the left end plate, yes. And there is a yellow flag. I don't know for who. I think it was Jonathan getting lapped probably. Didn't get a penalty as well, so now we're down to 4 drivers with track limits penalties into lap 11 out of 36. Let's see if Phantom Fox has the run to try and re-overtake Guga River to claim back his actual P5 on track. DRS is enabled, he slightly deploys the battery, he tries and use all the slipstream possible, but it's still not enough to get close, and now Jonathan has 10 seconds and then he retires. He does not want to get disqualified, I'll give him that, but that's the end of the season for Jonathan. Not really on a high note, considering Imola and now Brazil as well this week, but yeah, that's the end of the season for Felix's teammate. Phantom Fox reclaims P5, diving down the inside of the Ciudad do Lago, turn 4, always in Kuko, still battling for their little positions, for the last place that will gain you points, that's P10. But now those mediums are already 11 laps old, and I actually am not sure at what lap it should be ideal to pit. Cannot make any predictions at the moment. Dylan and Bazooka are actually fighting, and they go, look at that, they go side by side through turn 11, but actually Bazooka stays behind, going up into turn 12. Vasali, oh, Jeremy pits! This is crucial. We have the first medium runner to go into the pits. So Jeremy is attempting an important undercut on Felix and Catch Racer, and I do think they will have to react as soon as possible. They need to pit this lap. If Jeremy sets a very good first lap on those hards, Felix and Catch Racer might be in trouble. They need to pit as soon as possible, but Felix actually still somewhat battles Catch Racer as he overtakes him with the RS going down into turn 4, and he now still stays ahead. But they need to have a beautiful in-lap, they need to be as fast as possible. Let's look at the leader gap. Jeremy is 20 seconds from Felix, 20.3, 20.1 now. I think Felix is in trouble. I think the pit stops last a little bit more than 20 seconds. So Jeremy has indeed a chance of making the jump. Making the jump on both of them. Do they react? That is the question. Felix stays out and Catch Racer as well. So they prefer battling out still, or maybe those minions they think that they still have pace, but Jeremy is still gaining. Sully is in the pits as well, so both Mercedes drivers now going for the undercut on their rivals, pitting from mediums to hards. Dylan as well, following this same strategy. Let's keep looking at those gaps, the leader gaps. Let's keep looking at those. Jeremy is close to gaining about a second compared to the previous lap. It was 20.2 earlier, and now it's 19.5. In a span of a few corners, that 19.4 might actually drop down very quickly to 19.0, and that's the undercut down on both of them. Felix and Catch Racer, and I mean all of the medium runners as of now, they will be very lucky if they get a safety car right now, so that they can pit for the hards and get a free pit stop. They go with the hards up until the end, but it will be especially convenient for Felix and Catch Racer. But they actually both pit on lap 14. Felix and Catch Racer reacted to the undercut from Jeremy, and let's see. Let's see what happens at the pit exit. They are both changing their tires at the same time. Felix exits the pits ahead. But let's see Jeremy. He's going around turn 1 and turn 2, and I do think he has already overtaken them on the pit exit. Felix is ever so slightly so close, actually on the pit exit, joining back into the straight. Well, it is true, Jeremy made the jump, but just a few tenths of a second were gained in that undercut. And very crucially, actually, Cat Racer has dropped down to Felix a lot more than I thought. 96 tenths, so I think he's actually pushing just now through these corners. Yeah, I actually think Jeremy is somewhat slowing down Felix to try and battling this one out. And they also need to overtake Always. If he doesn't get out of the way in pit. Guga River in the lead, has pitted. So is Bazooka. But he got a 10-second penalty for spinning in pit lane. So as always, so there we go. The top 3 is back again on track. This is now their true positions and they are battling out with those hard tires. But as it stands, in terms of the championship, there is nothing Felix can do if Cat Racer doesn't end up at least actually at most 5th or lower. There is nothing that Felix can do until Cat Racer is on the podium. Sure, he can try and win this race for his personal glory after not winning for so long, but for the championship he needs actually much more than that. Actually, nowadays Sully is in this fight as well. He was also one of the drivers that made the undercut on Felix and Cat Racer, and it looks like he's slightly paid off, as he's still in this DRS train. So is there any battling at the front, any swap for positions? And I think there will be once Jeremy overtakes Felix on the outside. Actually, just before the braking zone, Jeremy stays ahead and reclaims the lead of the race. But let's see what Sully can do in all of this. What role can he play inside this battle? Jeremy's teammate. How can he probably do something against Felix and Cat Racer? Because that could actually be crucial if it ends up compromising the title battle. Now Dylan and Alex fighting. Alex with a beautiful switchback actually on the exit of turn 4, and he's still holding on with that damaged front wing, missing the right end plate, and Dylan now dies on the inside and stays ahead after overtaking on the inside. And well, Alex is missing the end plate, but actually, to be fair, on some tracks missing the end plate isn't exactly as big as you think. There are some tracks where even if you lose the end plate, you still have actually similar levels of downforce and you can still hold on. So yeah, that's what Alex is doing now. Oh, but Felix and Jeremy are fighting once again, and Jeremy has to defend on the outside because Felix dives on the inside and reclaims the lead. And Sully almost had a look around the outside of Cat Racer for a brief moment there. We will stay behind for now, and Jeremy has a look at the inside, but he actually slightly goes deep. If he would have went even deeper, Cat Racer would have had the opportunity for a switchback, but now the Williams, he's stuck between the two Mercedes, and Jeremy is not really that close to Felix. If Jeremy goes lower and Cat Racer cannot get around him, he might be in trouble. If he loses touch with the leader of the race at the moment. Going now into the first half of the race. Lap 18 out of 36. It is Felix leading, but all of these drivers are swapping positions pretty much every single lap with the DRS, even during the corners. They still keep doing that. And Jeremy once again showing his advantage on the straight lines. With the straight line speed. Oh, they actually made contact there, and I do think maybe Jeremy got a track limits warning. I'm not quite sure, but as long as it's not a penalty, it will be fine. The Cat Racer tucks in getting the slipstream from the drivers ahead, doesn't choose to go around actually on the inside, because that would have been 3 wide and just utterly dangerous. So yeah, wise decision to just stay behind. And Catchers are going deeper under the braking during those corners. So braking even late, trying to gain time under brakes. Sean and Always are fighting at the back of the group now, fighting only for P10, the last position that will gain you points. 3 tenths at the moment. Let's also not forget Alex chasing Guga River, who is chasing Dylan. Fancy Fox is pretty much on his own with a solid P5 as of now. DRS isn't able to follow all 3 of these drivers once again, and Sully dies, almost dies on the inside of Catchers. He just backs out at the last moment. But Jeremy now has the DRS and will go on the inside line of Zone 4, and they still go wheel to wheel under the braking. Who's gonna be ahead? It will be Jeremy. Very easily done with that overspeed he had thanks to the DRS. And going into lap 20, so 16 laps left, and actually the unpredictable didn't happen as of now. Like, as of now, it was just a normal, clean race, swapping positions pretty much mainly with DRS, but also in some corners. But yeah, not that unpredictable stuff that will make you think that Felix will be close to winning a championship all of a sudden. Catchers now goes on the inside, actually diving into turn 12, but he was actually, I think, too ambitious, because Felix still had better momentum around the outside, so he still stays in P2, but they still have DRS both on the cars ahead. Do they go 3 wide into zone 1? Yes, they go. Actually, no, Felix has an almighty overspeed, but Catchers sends it massively around the outside and claims the lead of the race. Felix is just behind in P2. All 3 of those, Catchers, Felix and Jeremy, absolutely selling it on the straight and under the braking of turn 1. Now Felix takes the inside line for turn 4. They are still battling left and right. Jeremy is trying to look for a gap. Look at that, he almost went between them, but just look at how close they are. Just barely a tenth. He's separating all these drivers, but after turn 8, it looks like they settled just a little bit more for this short period of time. They are a little bit further apart. Now Felix is in the lead, and 3 tenths to separate pretty much all 4 of these cars, 3 tenths between each other. Dylan gets a penalty as well. I think we are down to 6 seconds of penalties. 6 for Dylan, 3 for Guga River, 10 for Bazzoka and 6 for Kuko. Let's see, will we see another overtake on the main straight? Catchers has the DRS and everybody goes down the inside, and so does Jeremy. It's actually Sully. Sully overtaking his teammate and going up into P3, and Catchers overtakes Felix, so he reclaims the little race. But Sully, unexpectedly I would say, overtaking his teammate, but he still go at it, still swapping positions to the 2 Mercedes drivers. They are both fighting for the best position they can get out of this race. Actually, you know this, I forgot about the Constructors' Championship. Oh, actually no, Williams won it a long time ago. They have 81 points ahead of VCARB going into this race, so maybe I didn't commentate when Williams won the Constructors' Championship. So yeah, surprise, I guess. But anyway, we are looking at the Drivers' Championship, which at the end of the day is the most exciting one, to be honest. And Catchers has somewhat gapped Felix. Now he's 6 tenths, and Felix might be in trouble under the threat of Jeremy just behind. Well, let's see, they both have DRS. Actually, Jeremy doesn't gain as much, so Felix just gains all that he needs to gain on this last lap. Because now the gap went from 6 tenths down to 3 tenths, so that's still something. Now it goes down to 2 tenths. Let's see if on lap 23 he goes for a move or just tries to stay behind. Alex and Dylan are actually making moves left and right, probably even more than the leaders. And as I say that, Cacheser drops down both. What happened? Cacheser has been overtaken by both Felix and Jeremy. Just as I took my visuals of the three of them, Cacheser decides to be overtaken by both. Brilliant. I was looking at Alex and Dylan for a brief moment, because to some extent they are actually fighting more than the leaders. But let's go back to the main straight. Rear wing is open for Jeremy, who takes the inside line and very comfortably. Ooh, actually Felix somewhat tries to resist, try and stay close. I think we have DRS coming out of this corner. But look at that, Cacheser is diving on the inside as well, and Cacheser overtakes Felix, who was trying to overtake Jeremy, but it's not enough. So positions between these four keep changing left and right every single lap, almost every single corner. Felix trying to look for a gap to overtake Hart, but not enough. And in the meanwhile, he still has Sully behind him. So they're pretty much just staying in DRS, fighting this all the way through until the last lap. It's 12 laps to go now, and well, you can just see how quickly they go around this short track of Brazil. But Cacheser now overtakes Jeremy on the inside, so he reclaims the lead of the race. Now it's 25 out of 36, still 12 laps to go. And Jeremy defends the inside and actually goes for a move, almost goes for a move. And look at that, Felix is almost forced wide by Jeremy. He's actually slightly forced wide, but I don't think that's worthy of a penalty, because he didn't exactly aggressively push him. It's hard racing to some extent. Now Felix is 7/10 behind his rival. 8/10. Is Cacheser pushing? Because all of a sudden he started to gap Felix. This could be crucial. If Cacheser keeps being as fast as he is, Felix might drop down on DRS. Does he have DRS? We don't know. There is a Haas being stealing. It is Dylan spun around with wing damage just before turn 10. I have no idea what happened. But let's go back to the leaders, because now Jeremy overtakes Felix and Felix jumps down to 4th. This is now crucial for the championship. Cacheser all of a sudden has started gapping Felix, and he has lost him DRS after the last corner on the main straight. Now Felix will be absolutely pushing to try and get back into the range, because now it is crucial. 1.5 seconds to separate Cacheser and Sully. So Felix is even more behind, and unless he can overtake these two Mercedes drivers quickly and try and recover so much distance to Cacheser, he's gonna be in big trouble. Cacheser saw an opportunity and took it pretty much immediately to try and gap him and put himself in a safe spot outside of DRS. And that's exactly what he needed. Felix will not be happy about that one. As of now, he is thinking that his championship is over. And although it is true that he might be thinking that 10 laps to go, if you have faith, a lot can happen in 10 laps. But now it's 2.1, so he just started pushing out of nowhere. He just, Jeremy with a massive oversteer through turn 2. I think that might give Felix his first chance to try and get past the Mercedes. So once again, they both have DRS. Sully will have to defend, and he does defend, staying on the normal racing line. Felix has to go a little bit wide. He actually goes a little bit wide and off track even. So he still stays in before, and he's frustrated that he cannot get past these two Mercedes and try and chase his main rival. Felix is still trying to look for a gap somewhere, maybe on the inside of turn 8, but definitely no, it's not gonna work out, at least now with that distance. But he's still very much frustrated. Cacheser is just enjoying this, going off into the distance. Now it's 2.8. That move he did, going so fast and dropping the cars behind outside of DRS, that was absolutely crucial. That might have just been the deciding factor. The two Mercedes swap positions and Felix is still trying to get past, changing lines left and right to try and do that in the safest way possible, to not be involved in a crash with the two Mercedes. But now Felix goes on the inside of wheel for a double overtake, but actually no, Jeremy still stays ahead, but he still go wheel to wheel. They are losing even more time, but this is Felix's chance to try and get past. He has overtaken Sully, but he hasn't overtaken Jeremy yet, at least. Will he still have a chance going into turn 8? No, he won't. He's just in P3 now, but the gap has grown even bigger, 4.2 seconds now, but actually Felix has an almost better run. He was going side to side with Jeremy for a brief moment there, but Oversteer has just cancelled that, and now Kart is enjoying this even more. Almost up into 5 seconds is the gap between himself and Jeremy. He's very much enjoying that. And Felix, if he can find like all of the pace possible he could find right now, he could get close, but that's an extremely difficult task for him to do right now. Oh, Jeremy got a penalty, but that's not what he's concerned about. He's not concerned about finishing ahead of Jeremy. He's concerned about finishing Kart Racer, who at the moment is leading the race. Well, surely this will put Sully up into the podium instead of Jeremy, but that's not Felix's concern again. His concern is to somehow gain back 4.8 seconds that were lost in Kart Racer, just going fast and making Felix drop out of DRS, and also being stacked up fighting with those Mercedes that definitely did not help at all. Oh, Fanta Force has left. So another disconnection for the Aston Martin driver. He has been disconnecting quite a lot recently. Hopefully he can get back. Now back at the leaders. Actually, not the leaders, because it is Jeremy Felix. Like, I was so used to those first laps that it was actually the leaders, but now it's not. Sully goes for the inside, but he actually parks it on the apex, which is enough for Felix to have better momentum around the outside and still maintain P3. Now he can just changing lines at the last possible moment. Still go wheel to wheel through turn 4. Felix has the inside. And he actually somewhat make contact. They just slightly bang wheels between each other, but I can assure you Felix is not enjoying this. With 6 laps left to go, a safety car, I'm not jinxing it, I don't want to jinx it, but a safety car now will change everything. And in 6 laps, still possible. Let's just keep this hope of unpredictable events to happen, but that unpredictable event is Fanta Fox disconnecting once again. But it's actually not unpredictable, but yeah, you get what I mean. Is he actually showing? He's not showing online. I don't think I've been missing out on too much because, yeah, just Felix is fighting for P2. Pretty much a virtual P2 because Jeremy has track limits. But P2 is definitely not where he wants to be. Now going into lap 32, I'm pretty sure that Jeremy will still go for a move once again with DRS. Actually, will he? He's gaining, but not close enough. Just enough to gain, but not to overtake. And I think he just pretty much gave up on gaining on catches. It's pretty much impossible now. I think at this stage he's just defending this P2 for fun, because he will get in nonetheless from well, for the penalties. Fantafox once again with the disconnects. Now it's 8.9, now it's 9 seconds. He could very much go up into 10 seconds by the end of the race. And not very far either. 32 out of 36. Maybe not in the most exciting way, but history is about to be written once again. Oh, Felix just slightly locking up, going into the first corner. Okay, so it looks like there is some battling at least. Oh, actually, never mind. That's like the commentator curse. It could have been on the safety car or like on the leaders of the race. It just ended up being on Fantafox. Just as I say, oh, it looks like they're racing. Just as I say that, Fantafox disconnects once again. He might actually drop down to 7. Poor guy. Felix at this stage, well, he has pretty much realized it just as soon as Catracer went into the distance, dropped him out of the DRS. He pretty much realized from there that his championship was not gonna be possible anymore, so he's just fighting for P2. Not even for a win, so this will be Felix's first season without a race win. I don't think if it's the first time ever, I don't know if it's the first time ever, or the first time in a long time, but yeah, definitely not what he wanted out of this season. Now it's 11.1 seconds. I think he was close to gaining pretty much a second lap on average, I think. So Fantafox and Guga River maybe actually battling this time around, we don't know. It looks like Fantafox is ahead. Oh, but look at this battling. Oh, Sully and Felix are going side by side into turn 6. Oh, and Felix is just slightly tapping Jeremy. And oh, there was a massive lag. I almost saw Sully just completely rear-ending Felix there if it wasn't for lag. But after all of this, we are about to start the last lap of the race, the last lap of this season. Catracer, He had a brilliant season, just like pretty much any other season he's ever had here in Brazil. The same track where he won his fourth title back in season 13. His fourth title in his career, his third title in a row during F1 23, battling against Felix. He was stuck at 4 titles, same as Felix. These two have been the drivers with most championships in F1 Total's history. They will still be the drivers with most championships in F1 Total history, except they won't be equal anymore. One of them will only have 4, but one of them will finally have 5 for the first time in the league's history. You don't see that happen too often. Both drivers have finished on the podium. Kurt Tracer has won 5 races. Now it's gonna be a 6th one, and he does that in brilliant fashion and in dominant fashion, and he writes history today in Brazil. Kurt Tracer is officially a 5-time world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in the league's history, the 5 championships belong to a single driver. Felix will finish the race in P2 and the championship in P2. He will finish on the podium in every race this season, sadly with no race wins. And an absolutely iconic rivalry that we've had for many seasons. We started the F1 23 game cycle with Kurt Tracer only having 1 title to his name. Well, came the end of the F1 23 cycle, that 1 championship now became 4th. And here in the second season of F1 24, he is now the driver with most championships, and that is absolutely brilliant. They have fought for so long, for so many seasons, still at the absolute best of their abilities, but at the end of the day, it is gotta be only one that stands on top, and that one that stands on top, once again, we'd have expected it, but this is actually an extremely important moment for him. Backflipping happily on the podium, and he stands on the top of the podium. That number 1 as well as the number 5 belongs officially to him, and he has done that in an absolutely excellent fashion. Well, I wouldn't say dominating as he did in F1 23. Well, sure, he still won 6 races while his rival won 0. But still, they both finished on the podium every single race. It just shows how high are the standards for them and how high are their abilities. So yeah, nothing much left to say. Just congratulations to Kurt Tracer, because it is absolutely a brilliant achievement. 5 titles, and well, Felix now has 4 to his name. But he's now not the first driver with most championship being equal, because he now drops down to second. But let's remember, there is still season 16, so it's not like Felix is retiring anytime soon. So yeah, there is still a long way to go. Still a chance to try and equal those 5, but that 5 or nothing battle has finally come to an end, and ladies and gentlemen, that 5 belongs to Kurt Tracer. Again, congratulations to him, and ladies and gentlemen, that has been season 15, another pretty much exciting season for the title battle. Well, it is pretty much always the same drivers, to be honest. I mean, it was Felix and Kurt Tracer for the entirety of F1 23. We had a short break between Jeremy and Felix in season 14, where Felix still lost. Jeremy won his second title, but we are back with the OG, the original championship contenders. But that has finally come to an end. If Felix will be able to claim back his 5th and try and be equal once again, we don't know, but we will find that in season 16 that we start in late February. So the Division 1 drivers will have a very deserved break for about a month, but there is still the Division 2 finale still in Brazil, that actually worth mentioning to anyone listening to the stream. It will not be this week on the 29th of January. because in that same day there is the final league phase of the Champions League, many matches that will happen on race day, on race time as well. So we've mutually decided to move the Division 2 finale to the 5th of February. After that, season 15 will be over for both divisions. So we will have a special event, a Nations Cup of sort, in Formula 1 style. Sign-ups are still open, so if anyone wants to join that, you are absolutely free to do that. But yeah, this season finally comes to an end. So it is now a short break for Division 1. Thank you for watching tonight's stream. Again, massive congratulations to Catrace for his 5 titles. And if it stays like this, maybe if the 2 drivers go back to 5 titles, Catrace and Felix, or maybe if Carter wins a 6th title, we don't know. That is up to season 16, and that will be again in late February. So yeah. Thank you for watching tonight's stream. I hope you somewhat enjoyed that. Not exactly the best of finales I've seen, but it's still history being written. So glad I could be able to commentate that. So yeah, season 15 is over, and Division 1 will be back on season 16.